me and a bunch of different Panther and PPV car owners at the annual Panther Fest / PPV meet. More details at the end of the video.
One day in America, in the not so distant future, when electric cars finally take over all forms of transportation, some young kid is going to stumble upon a barn just like this, and he's going to be amazed at what he finds inside. To show you guys the top 5 rarest Crown Victorias ever made. And if you happen to own one right now, maybe it's time you stop driving it and consider parking it. And although the cars featured in this list are rare and hard to find, some are actually still obtainable. However, as this list goes on, they get hard to almost impossible to find anymore, with the last one on the list being a complete one-off.
So the first Vic on the list just so happens to be a civilian model, but not just any civilian model. This car actually made number 2 on my top 10 all-time best Panther cars of all time. And that is the 2002 to 2007 Crown Victoria LX Sport. In this case, it's going to be the one with the floor shifter, not the one with the column shifter. Now, this car is essentially the Shelby GT350 of the Panther world. You see, the LX Sport came out a year before. This means the LX Sport featured the same drivetrain and suspension that the Marauder had, all while having Lincoln Town Car and Grand Marquis level of luxury on the inside. The engine, drivetrain, and suspension were all tuned for better shifting, handling, and cornering, which were only seen on the P71 versions of the time. Now, a true LX Sport is almost impossible to find anymore, but those you will come across have been maintained exceptionally well. Sadly, though, the prices on these cars have now doubled. And that's not because of me. I'm saying before this video even came out. Okay, maybe it's a little bit because of me. And now moving on to number 4 on the list. You know how the LX Sport was number 2 on my all-time best Panthers list? Well, this next car was number 1. And that is the Crown Victoria Police Interceptor with the Street Appearance Package, also known as an SAP Crown Vic. Primarily used by detective units or alphabet agencies like the FBI and DEA, hell, even the CIA. The SAP Crown Vic is essentially a full-blown police interceptor with the engine, suspension, and drivetrain of a P71, but it's dressed as a civilian Crown Vic. It's funny because some of the agencies that own these cars, they will literally remove the police interceptor badge and stick on a generic Crown Victoria badging just for shits and giggles. This car was literally an undercover P71. Now, although fairly easy to clone, there are a few ways to identify an SAP Crown Vic. If you see a full civilian-looking Vic with a VIN number of P71, it's most likely an SAP. Also, on the purchase sticker, and sometimes even included with the manual paperwork, you'll find the words Street Appearance Package, along with the usual chrome trim and civilian wheel covers. That's another way to tell you got one. But the complete dead giveaway for an SAP is a combination of the P71 VIN number and the ultra rare civilian taillights with the amber turn signals. Now, moving on to number 3, we have the 2002 Kenny Brown P2 Panther, also known as the Cobra Killer Crown Vic. No, really. In 2002, this Crown Victoria was literally faster than the non-Terminator Cobra. And the best part, it did it all with a 2-valve. Yet another Crown Vic that inspired the creation of the Marauder, the P2 Panther used a simple yet effective formula. Keep the 2-valve single overhead cam 4.6 liter, add an Eaton supercharger making a modest 8 pounds of boost, and reap the Cobra killing benefits. All while having enough room for 5 and a trunk full of groceries at the same time. Making 350 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque, the P2 Panther was literally faster than a Cobra produced in the same year. The P2 Panther was offered as a package from Kenny Brown. However, the exact number of models produced is not 100% clear. One thing is for sure though, this Crown Vic is rare as hell. Speaking of rare, this brings us to the number 2 rarest Crown Victoria ever made, and that is the Roush Cobra Crown Victoria. With only 18 ever made, most of which belong to private collectors and the rest being in racing museums across the country, it's easier to find footage of Bigfoot than it is to get footage on one of these. Luckily for you guys, your boy has just that footage. Built in 1999 by Roush himself for the world-famous Ford racing instructor Bob Bondurant, the Roush Cobra Vic had one purpose: to absolutely shred corners at the racetrack while transporting multiple racing students at the same damn time. You see, being able to transport more students means more money, and who's gonna say no to more money? The Vic came equipped with a 1998 Mustang 4-valve Cobra engine, a 5-speed T5 manual transmission, a Cobra Arc oil cooler, and a radiator from a frickin' F-250 pickup truck. Oh, no, I ain't done yet, son. The car sat 2 inches lower with Eibach springs and Monroe shocks, had a catless exhaust system, and had a gear ratio of 373. Throw in a 6-point roll cage, upgraded fuel tank, and the now famous Cobra R rims, and you bring the whole package together. Now, as of the making of this video, an actual Roush Cobra Vic has gone for auction about 2 years ago and sold for $35,000. Good luck ever finding another one. And now, for the absolute rarest and weirdest Crown Victoria ever made, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 2008 Edsel Citation Crown Victoria. Now, for those of you younger than the age of 78, Edsel was what Lincoln is now for Ford. Back in the late 1950s, it was essentially a fancy Ford. The Edsel Citation, which was offered as a coupe or convertible, was the Bel Airs and Cadillacs competition of the time. How the hell did anyone see a Crown Vic and immediately think of this? I have no idea. Now, this modern take on the now dead company was the brainchild of Rob Saram, who took a stock beige 2008 Crown Vic and used it as a platform to pay tribute to one of his favorite discontinued cars. Of course, the Edsel Citation. So Rob got an aftermarket company to design and graft an Edsel visage and custom rear taillights, along with a trunk lid onto the Crown Victoria. The door handles were chromed and artificial side vents were added. After that, aftermarket wheels, custom Citation badging, a pinstripe, and a carriage roof treatment completed the exterior modifications. And the whole package rides on some aftermarket wheels with custom Edsel center caps. The entire interior was redesigned with custom instrument cluster trims and dash trims, along with one-of-a-kind seats, and I'm not gonna lie, this is one of, if not the best, Crown Vic interior I've ever seen. Now, only 2 Edsel Crown Vics were ever made, with the last one selling at auction for $15,000, making the 2008 Edsel Citation Crown Victoria the rarest Crown Vic ever made. Come hang out with me and fellow like-minded Panther car owners, from Crown Vics to Grand Marquis to town cars. If you own a police pursuit vehicle, PPV, bring it out. The date is Saturday, March 13. The location and time is on the screen. We will be accepting donations for the Veterans Association that is letting us use their parking lot. So, come out for the annual Panther Fest, and let's support our vets at the same time. I'm going to leave you guys with the information on the screen. Either way, it's your boy, Mr. Random. Love you guys. Catch you on the next one. Take it easy.